Have you ever wondered why some seniors quietly add a single clove to their morning coffee and never talk about it? What if I told you that within just 10 minutes, your body could begin reacting in ways most doctors rarely mention? You might be drinking coffee every day, but missing a tiny ingredient that could change how you feel, think, and even move. Before you dismiss this as another internet myth, there's something surprising happening beneath the surface. And once you understand it, you may never look at your daily cup the same way again after watching this today. Today, we're uncovering what really happens when you combine clove with coffee. Is it a hidden health trick or just another myth seniors believe? Let's break down what science and doctors actually say. Every morning you follow the same routine. You wake up, head to the kitchen, and prepare your coffee just the way you like it. The smell fills the air, familiar and comforting. But what if this simple ritual is missing something small, something so powerful that a single addition could quietly change how your body responds within minutes? For many seniors, coffee is more than just a drink. It's energy, clarity, and comfort in a cup. But as the body ages, the way it reacts to caffeine begins to shift. You may have noticed it yourself. Sometimes your heart feels a little faster, your stomach slightly unsettled, or your energy comes in short bursts followed by a sudden drop. It's easy to ignore these signs, assuming it's just part of getting older. But here's where things get interesting. There's a small, often overlooked spice sitting in your kitchen right now: clove. It's something you might associate with cooking or traditional remedies, but rarely with coffee. And yet, some seniors have quietly started adding just one clove to their cup every morning. Not two, not a handful, just one. Why? At first glance, it sounds strange. Coffee already has a strong taste, and clove has a bold, spicy aroma. Combining the two doesn't seem like an obvious choice, but those who have tried it often stick with it. Not because of the flavor, but because of how it makes them feel. Within about 10 minutes, something subtle begins to happen. You may not notice it immediately, but your body does. Clove contains natural compounds known for their warming and stimulating effects. When combined with coffee, these compounds interact with your system in a way that can feel different from your usual caffeine kick. Instead of a sharp spike followed by a crash, the sensation may feel smoother, more balanced, almost like your body is processing the caffeine differently. But that's only part of the story. For some people, coffee alone can irritate the stomach, especially on an empty stomach. It can lead to discomfort, acidity, or even a slight burning feeling. This is something many seniors quietly tolerate, believing there's no alternative. But clove has traditionally been used for its soothing properties. When added to coffee, it may help counteract some of that irritation, creating a gentler experience for the digestive system. Still, not everyone talks about this. Why? Because it sounds too simple. In a world filled with expensive supplements and complicated health routines, the idea that a single clove could make any noticeable difference feels almost unbelievable. And yet, simplicity is often where the most overlooked answers lie. However, before you rush to try it, there's something important you need to understand. Not every body reacts the same way. While some people report feeling calmer, more focused, or even lighter after drinking coffee with clove, others may not notice much at all. And in certain cases, this combination might not be suitable, especially if you have specific health conditions or sensitivities. This is where the real question begins. Is this a hidden trick that could improve your daily routine? Or is it just another habit passed down without real understanding? As we move forward, we'll start breaking down what's actually happening inside your body when clove meets coffee. The effects might surprise you, and the science behind it may challenge what you thought you knew about your morning cup. Because sometimes the smallest changes create the biggest questions. Now that you know this unusual habit exists, the real question is, what actually happens inside your body when you add a single clove to your coffee? At first, it might seem like nothing more than a flavor experiment. But within minutes of taking that first sip, your body begins responding in ways that most people never stop to notice. Let's start with caffeine. When you drink coffee, caffeine is quickly absorbed into your bloodstream. This is what gives you that familiar boost. Your mind feels sharper, your body more alert. But for many seniors, this process isn't as smooth as it once was. Instead of steady energy, you might experience jitters, restlessness, or even a sudden drop in energy not long after. This is where clove begins to play an unexpected role. Clove contains a powerful natural compound called eugenol. While you may not have heard of it before, your body certainly reacts to it. Eugenol has properties that can influence how your system handles stimulation. When it enters your body alongside caffeine, it doesn't cancel the effect, but it can subtly modify it. Instead of caffeine hitting your system all at once, the presence of clove may create a more gradual response. Some people describe it as a smoother way cup, where the energy feels more stable and less overwhelming. It's not that the coffee becomes weaker, it's that your body may be processing it differently. But that's only one layer of what's happening. Within about 10 minutes, your digestive system is also reacting. Coffee alone can sometimes increase acid production in the stomach, which may lead to discomfort, especially if you drink it on an empty stomach. This is a common issue that many seniors simply live with, assuming it's unavoidable. Clove, however, has long been used in traditional practices for its digestive, supporting qualities. When combined with coffee, it may help reduce that harsh feeling by promoting a more balanced response in the stomach. Some people notice less bloating, less irritation, and an overall calmer sensation after drinking. And then there's something even more surprising: your body's internal response to inflammation. As we age, low-level inflammation becomes more common. You might not see it directly, but it can show up as joint stiffness, fatigue, or a general sense of discomfort. Clove is known for containing compounds that may support the body's natural anti-inflammatory processes. When paired with coffee, which already has its own antioxidant properties, the combination becomes more complex than it first appears. This doesn't mean it's a miracle solution, but it does suggest that your morning cup might be doing more than just waking you up. However, there's an important detail that often gets overlooked: the timing, that 10-minute effect. People talk about isn't magic. It's simply how quickly your body begins to absorb and respond to what you consume. The initial reaction might be subtle: a slight warmth in your chest, a calmer stomach, or a clearer head. These are easy to ignore if you're not paying attention. But once you notice them, it becomes hard to unsee the difference. Still, not everyone experiences the same results. Some people feel a noticeable change, while others feel almost nothing at all. This depends on many factors: your metabolism, your sensitivity to caffeine, and your overall health. What works for one person may not work the same way for another, and this brings us to a critical point. Just because something is natural doesn't mean it's automatically right for you. In the next chapter, we'll explore the potential benefits more deeply, but also the risks that many videos and articles conveniently leave out. Because understanding both sides is the only way to decide whether this simple habit is truly worth adding to your daily routine. By now, you've seen how something as simple as adding a single clove to your coffee can create subtle changes in your body. But this is where things start to get a little more complicated and a bit more controversial. Because while many people talk about the benefits, very few take the time to explain the full picture. Let's begin with what supporters of this habit often claim. One of the most talked about benefits is improved digestion. For seniors especially, digestion can become slower and more sensitive over time. Coffee alone sometimes makes this worse, causing discomfort or acidity. But with clove added, some people report a noticeably gentler experience. They feel less heaviness, less irritation, and in some cases, a more comfortable start to their day. Then there's the idea of sustained energy. Instead of the typical caffeine spike followed by a crash, some individuals describe a steadier, more controlled feeling of alertness. It's not that the coffee becomes less powerful, it's that the edges feel smoother. For seniors who are sensitive to caffeine, this can make a surprising difference in how they function throughout the morning. Another commonly mentioned benefit is related to inflammation. As the body ages, inflammation tends to increase quietly in the background. You may feel it as stiffness in your joints, mild aches, or a constant sense of fatigue. Clove contains compounds that are often associated with supporting the body's natural ability to manage inflammation. When combined with coffee's antioxidants, some believe this pairing creates a small but meaningful boost in daily wellness. And finally, there's the mental clarity factor. Many people claim that this combination helps them feel more focused, without the jittery side effects that coffee sometimes brings. It's described as a clearer, calmer kind of alertness, something that feels especially valuable as concentration becomes more difficult with age. But here's the part most videos don't emphasize enough. There are risks, and ignoring them would be a mistake. Clove is powerful. Even though you're only using one, it still contains active compounds that can affect your body in real ways. For some individuals, especially those with sensitive stomachs, clove may actually cause irritation instead of relief. What feels soothing to one person might feel uncomfortable to another. There's also the issue of interactions. If you're taking medications, particularly blood thinners or medications related to blood sugar, clove may not be as harmless as it seems. Certain compounds in clove can influence how your blood behaves, and combining that with medication without proper understanding could lead to unwanted effects. This is where many people get it wrong. They assume that because something is natural, it's automatically safe for everyone. But the truth is, your body doesn't work on trends or viral tips. It responds to chemistry, balance, and individual conditions. Another overlooked factor is quantity and frequency. Some people hear about this trick and immediately start using multiple cloves or drinking it several times a day, thinking more will bring better results. That's not how it works. In fact, increasing the amount could do the opposite, leading to stronger side effects rather than stronger benefits. So where does that leave you? Somewhere in the middle. This isn't a miracle cure, and it's not a dangerous myth either. It's a small habit with potential effects, both positive and negative depending on how your body responds. And that's exactly why the next step matters the most. Before you decide whether to try this for yourself, you need to understand one final, critical piece of the puzzle. Who should avoid this combination entirely, no matter how promising it sounds? Because sometimes the smartest choice isn't trying something new, it's knowing when not to. At this point, you might be thinking about trying it yourself. After all, it's just one clove in your coffee. It sounds simple, harmless, even intriguing. But before you make this part of your daily routine, there's something you absolutely need to understand. This is not for everyone. In fact, for some people, this small habit could do more harm than good. Let's start with one of the most important groups, those taking medication. If you're on blood thinners or medications that affect circulation, adding clove to your coffee is something you should approach with caution. Clove contains compounds that can influence how your blood behaves. While that might sound beneficial on the surface, it can interfere with medications in ways that are difficult to predict. Even a small change in how your body responds could have consequences you don't immediately notice. Then there are individuals managing blood sugar levels. Clove has been linked to effects on blood sugar regulation. For some, this might sound like a benefit. But if you're already taking medication for diabetes or related conditions, combining the two without proper guidance could lead to unexpected fluctuations. And when it comes to blood sugar, even small imbalances can have a noticeable impact on how you feel throughout the day. And now consider your digestive system. While some people find clove soothing, others may experience the opposite. If you already deal with acid reflux, ulcers, or a highly sensitive stomach, adding a strong spice like clove into an already acidic drink like coffee might increase irritation instead of reducing it. What feels gentle for one person could feel harsh for another. And here's something most people don't think about: your body's sensitivity. As you age, your system often becomes more reactive, not less. This means even small changes in your diet can produce stronger effects than they would have years ago. A single clove might seem insignificant, but your body doesn't measure things the way you do. It responds to compounds, not assumptions. There's also the question of consistency. Trying this once is very different from making it a daily habit. Your body might tolerate it occasionally, but repeated exposure could lead to effects that build over time. This is especially important if you're not paying close attention to how you feel after each cup. So, what should you do instead? Start with awareness. If you're curious, don't jump in blindly. Pay attention to your body. Notice how you feel before and after. Keep it minimal. Just one clove, not more. And most importantly, don't ignore signals. If something feels off, that's your body telling you to stop, not to push through. And if you have any existing health conditions or are taking medication, the smartest move isn't guessing. It's asking a professional who understands your specific situation. Because here's the truth that often gets lost in viral health trends: there is no one size fits all solution. What works for someone else may not work for you, and what looks like a simple health trick can quickly become a problem if it's used without understanding. So before you follow the trend, take a moment to think: is this something your body actually needs? Or is it just something that sounds too interesting to ignore? Because real health isn't about chasing every new idea. It's about making choices that truly fit you. And sometimes, the most powerful decision you can make is knowing when to say no.